8 years. Crazy, huh?
It's been a long 8 years. Seeing your beautiful face.
It's fun. I've got Professor Jeff Mitchell from Newark, Delaware, elite Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And every time you keep coming back, so you must enjoy it.
We like it here. Sean's not here with me this time, but we love traveling to see the guys here at Frequency. Feels like home.
How long you been training Jiu Jitsu?
At least 5 years now, maybe 25 added on to that, about 30 years.
And how long you been traveling, doing workshops, seminars, camps?
Um, I've been a black belt, man, I don't even remember, 13 or 14, 13 years, I think. And I think the first seminar Hobson sent me on was as a brown belt in DeLand, Florida.
Okay.
So, yeah, about 13 or 14 years, maybe.
What have you seen in those 13, 14 years of doing camps when it comes to the number of students that have been showing up over the past 14 years versus, in the traveling schedule and how technology has come into play?
the It's almost like kind of the same, but I mean, people are advancing a lot more now. Back when I started jujitsu, it was a lot harder for us to learn. And now people do have YouTube they learn from. They have the DVDs they can order. Um, they're doing the styles are changing a lot, of course. There's a lot of inversion now, but the basics are all still there. So it's kind of the same, but just with a lot of stuff added on. A lot more people training jiu-jitsu now. And when we first started doing the camps, there was a good amount of people. There was probably like 6 or 7 black belts. We just did the one in Toronto, and I would say close to half the people were almost black belts up there. There was so many black belts, so it's good to see people staying with it and keep training.
And what advice would you give to someone who's training jujitsu that for one, they've never attended a workshop and they don't know who that instructor is, so they got that little intimidation factor, kind of like when they first went to the first jujitsu class,
Hmm.
they weren't sure what to expect.
I mean, you can always learn from everybody, and it's not even about all the moves we teach. It's about the little pieces of each move that you can add to anything. We did the drills last night, but you wouldn't do the drills from start to finish like that. You would get to a position to say, oh, now I can push the knee, or I can windshield weight my leg over this place. So I would just let them know that they don't have to come in and perform. They don't have to come in and learn the move 100%, but just take little pieces of each move and give it a try.
And you've seen everywhere from white belts to black belts. I mean, everyone, regardless of their rank, they could pick up those small details
Oh
from
yeah.
you. When you have like purple belts and brown belts that are like on the fence, like at their own academy, when like the head instructor is asking them to maybe teach and lead a
Hmm.
class, what advice would you give to someone leading their first class?
Well, what I do is I tell my guys, because you know I've been doing jiu-jitsu, like I said, for about 30 years now, and it can be hard to teach. It can be intimidating to teach, but I like to tell my guys I'm not trying to make them world champions. I want to make them be able to pass jiu-jitsu on, to keep it going. I want them to be able to teach, and when you start teaching, you start understanding the moves a lot better, especially when you teach kids. So I tell them to come in and help with the kids class if they want, or if they want to teach an adult class, I'll tell them I'll go to the side with you. I'll listen to you teach the move, and then we can do it while I'm there. So you start getting used to it, and we can go from there. But just having them jump straight into a class by themselves to run the whole class, it can be pretty intimidating, and I understand that. So I would start small, and I tell everybody from white belt up, if you have time, come to the kids class to help. And I tell them, you don't have to teach. You're not going to teach the kids, the moves, but you'll be there to watch their safety, and you'll see how it's done, and then they can start helping out with the moves and stuff like that.
Sure. And one of the things that I like about jujitsu is that everyone that teaches, they've got their own little take
Hmm.
on the technique. And when you get into a comfort zone where as you travel, you drop into other jujitsu schools, you see how their classes are run. For those of the people who are watching who haven't had the opportunity to either come to one of your workshops or come to your school, give a little rundown of your basic class structure from warm up to the time you lock up the door and go home.
All right, so what we do at my school is I don't usually run the warm ups because I'll kill them. I'm not doing them, so I'll just kill them. No, so I have almost every night I ask the class who wants to run warm ups because everybody does it different, and if you get one person that does warm ups all the time, it's going to be the same repetitive warm ups.
True.
So I always ask who wants to come up and do the warm ups, and normally people volunteer right away. It's usually some people that do it more often than others, of course. So we'll do a quick warm up, and then depending on the amount of people in class that night, we'll do a couple different things. We'll do some drills, and then we'll break off, and I'll teach 2 or 3 lessons. If the class is pretty packed, we do what we call 6 out, where we put 6 people on the mat. The 6 that go out, they stay there the whole entire time, no matter what happens. And if it's guard passing, we never lock guard in the 6 out. We never lock our feet in any guard because it stalls and we want to keep it going. So we'll go out, people line up, we'll send 6 out, and we tell them to start. And whoever sweeps, passes, submits, that person that ran from the wall, he goes to the end of the line no matter what happens, and we send another one in right away. We'll do that for like 3 rounds, and then after that, we'll just go to regular grappling. And in my school, once grappling starts, it's basically an open mat.
Okay.
So if you want to drill on the side, you can. If you want to grapple, you can do that. Some people will go actually switch to no-gi, which I'm fine with that. And then we'll stay until almost the last person is done training. The only thing is if class starts at 6 and at 7, the people that stay after that, if they don't want to help clean the mats, then it's about time for them to go home. Because I tell them I could end class at 7, I can clean the mats. 20 minutes later, I can be on my way home. But if class is over at 7, these guys will train all the way up until 8:30 or so.
Oh, wow.
And then with 3 or 4 of them, it takes 5 minutes to do the school, and then we head out.
All right.
I let them stay as long as they want at night.
What advice do you give to someone who is really going down the rabbit hole of YouTube movements, trying to, watch that versus coming to class and drilling the techniques?
Yeah, that's a hard thing because we get a lot of people that do that, young guys, especially usually like blue belts, where some of them can get it, but some of them will come in and they'll start doing a move and they think they have it right, and it's not right. Or they'll do the move and then they'll ask us, "Well, I saw this on YouTube." I'm like, "Well, I don't know what you're doing," so I can't. It's hard for me to fix it. I always tell people, you got to come to class, you got to learn all the basics first before you even start doing that. It's cool to watch YouTube videos, but trying to learn off YouTube, if you don't have a good partner, it's almost makes it worse.
Yeah,
in some cases.
It's like I don't know which way my arm is supposed to go because I didn't change the camera angle.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to go this way. You travel a lot. You've been to Canada, Ireland. You're at the camp every year. What are some of your favorite places to go and do jiu-jitsu camps? And then what do you like to do when you're not on the mats?
Are you talking about the camps or just regular?
Just regular.
Well, the camps, one of the greatest places that I like to go to is now Ireland. I hated it in the beginning. The food was terrible. It was cold and rainy. You're traveling for like 2 days to get there. But now that I'm used to it, the people over there are just so amazing. It's just so much fun. Of course, Canada, those guys are just so laid back, don't care about anything, just to have fun. I love coming to Bloomington because, like I said, it feels like home. Everybody's so nice here. Like outside of jiu-jitsu, I really like, me and my wife will go out mountain bike riding, not in the woods or something. We just go for rides. We like to sit out back. We have these bird things out back and squirrels. We got a couple squirrels that'll eat from our hands. We like to sit back there, hang out and watch them. I like to play video games.
What are you playing now?
I still play Call of Duty,
Okay.
and I play with a lot of people, surprisingly my age, that do jiu-jitsu. I met a lot of guys, a lot of black belts. So it's pretty cool, and yeah.
Well, speaking of like meeting people, your flight from Chicago to Bloomington, you struck up a conversation with a guy who trains jujitsu
Mhm.
out in California. How did that come about?
Well, we had an 18-minute flight from Chicago to Bloomington, but then we sat on the runway for 30 minutes. And the kid was in front of me, and the other kid was across from me, and they just met.
Okay.
They were both here for school, from I guess school starting here.
Yeah.
They both just got here to do school, and neither of them know anybody. So they were talking like right across from me the whole time. And one kid, he's a soccer player, and the other kid, I forget what he said he did, but I heard him, those two said, well, let's hook up, and because we don't know anybody out here, and hang out and stuff. So, and then one kid said, I heard him say, hey, do you do any jiu-jitsu? And the other kid, I think he was saying, he likes to, weight lift, and he was thinking about trying it. And the guy was like, oh, well, I haven't been here, but I hope there's a good gym out there. And I was like, by the way, there's a really good gym out there. And the kid looked at me, and he's like, but do they do no gi? And I said, well, once you learn jiu-jitsu, then you can move into the gi.
Yeah.
No gi's for the guys that just can't do gi.
Right.
That's what I tried to tell him. But he trained at Tef Planet,
Sure.
So they have a crazy system over there, which is good, if you like that, no gi.
Mm-hmm.
But, I talked to him, and he just seemed so excited about it. And then getting off the plane, you were there, so
Yeah.
you got to talk to him. So, yeah, it's just, you wear T-shirts and people will ask you about it, or, and I always encourage people, stop in the gym, even if you're there for a day, you do
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu, you got to stop into the gym and meet people.
Yeah. One of our teammates, she went and competed at the IBJJF up in Chicago
Okay.
recently, and it was the same weekend as Lollapalooza, and the girl that she went up against was at Lollapalooza. She saw that the tournament was, the same weekend. So she's like, "Oh, I'll bring my gi, and if it fits into my schedule and how the bands are playing, I'll go compete." She went, and she ended up winning
Wow.
the Chicago tournament. So,
Awesome.
it's just kind of crazy. And again, throughout your travels, chances are good there's going to be a jiu-jitsu school within 20 minutes of wherever you're staying. So you go in and just have an open mind and learn. If there are people that are watching this and they're looking to come in and visit you at your school, what's the best way for them to reach out? Do you prefer that they contact you first, or can they just walk through the door?
No, we like you, we're around the college area, and we have a lot of people, not even just students, more people that work for the universities and stuff like that. They'll come in to do work around the area. We have your Uncle Joe Biden that lives up the road, where Secret Service guys are there. They'll come in, and either you just show up and we'll get you right in there, or if you send us a message, Sean will get back to you and tell you, come in, and just come in and have fun. Of course, if you're RMNU member, there's definitely no charge, but normally I don't even charge a mat fee for
Yeah.
people. I just want them to come in, meet everybody, train, and
Have a good attitude.
yeah, especially if you're on vacation, you want to go spend money at jiu-jitsu, just come in and
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah, definitely. What advice would you give yourself if you could go back, and talk to yourself when you were 18?
Man, drill more. Drill. Are you talking about for jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So
I don't.
just-
That's like a whole other
That's
show.
a whole other show. No, just drill more. Like, drilling's boring. You know what I mean? You're just repetitive. But you know the saying, drillers make killers. you have to drill. It has to be muscle memory. I try to tell people, if you don't drill enough, when you get to a position and you start thinking, oh, well, maybe I can knee cut here. By the time you thought that, it's already a new move. You already have to think of something else. So you have to drill it over and over again. And yeah, drill.
All right. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up and go grab some sushi at the Mexican restaurant?
No, I just keep training. And, best thing you can do for your school is tell your family and your friends to come try it out. That, it shows the school that you really like the place you're at, and and it helps the school build. And the more people you get in here, the more training partners you have, the better you're going to get. Yeah, just get everybody you can to check out the gyms.
All right. Well, thanks for checking us out. And be sure to hit up frequencymartialarts.com, hit the event section for all upcoming events. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.